Thanks, Goose. In a future world of military unrest and political turmoil, it's up to you to build an army and save the day. That is, if you can figure out what on earth anyone is talking about.
Has any of the equipment salvaged in Serbia revealed any secrets?
For the most part, some of the components come from Wayland Defense Corps.
WDC. What about the connection to Escobedo or Yao?
Our financial experts have determined that WDC is actually a front organization for the Young Corporation holding.
I know that name. It was in Yao's file. She'd been working for them for some time.
Before turning cyber terrorist and becoming involved in the Shanghai crash.
I love you.
She's our connection.
Where is this holding based?
In China, in a special economic enclave administered directly by multinational companies.
Pete Vermaak, captain, ex-private contractor for Damocles, and dead for 2 months.
You're exactly the man we're looking for.
Act of Aggression is an RTS developed by French studio Eugen Systems.
I'm Olivier.
They brought us the rather good Ruse, The Art of Deception, and wargame Air-Land Battle. Act of Aggression is a successor to their 2005 game Act of War Direct Action. Bajo, we said this in our wargame Air-Land Battle review a few years ago, but these guys need to come up with better names for their games.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I think they're just taking their previous game name and using a thesaurus on it to come up with the next one. And their storylines aren't getting any easier to digest either. Shall we try and decipher it, Hex?
Go for it, Bajo.
Yeah, all right. The year is 2026, I think, and there's a Mexican army, and they're fighting with America, I think. This all follows a financial crisis causing the collapse of China, says Wikipedia, but China and Mexico aren't playable factions. There are 3 playable factions, and they're caught up in a conspiracy.
WDC is actually a front organization.
Some guys called Damocles, and
with PMCs such as Damocles.
And they're all locked in battle. They're all fighting each other, and they're making tanks. And Hex, I'm out. I have no idea why anyone is doing anything.
Well, my eyes glazed over after the first cutscene, Bajo, despite a fairly flashy presentation style.
The gameplay is delicious, though.
Yeah, it's satisfying. This game runs at a pace and style similar to the old Command & Conquer days, with a rock and roll soundtrack to match. This lengthy campaign will test your strategic skills with unique battlefield problems. You'll be fighting down to your last few units across war-torn cities.
Unit is under attack.
Rescuing important leaders.
The judge is secured.
Taking over towns.
Good job. Engineers are on their way.
And doing your best to adapt to a dynamic and rapidly changing battlefield.
Contacts are converging on your position. Wait for the chopper, then get out of here.
Difficulty ramps up quickly, and early on you'll be taught a few hard lessons about managing an army.
Yeah, it's nice and tough. I found myself restarting more than a few times, sometimes only a few minutes into a game.
Yeah, me too. Often you've only got limited units, and they're structured in a way that if you don't utilize, say, your recon scout helicopters properly or buildings for cover, you'll be destroyed very quickly.
Unit is under attack.
I love this, Hex. It's the way the game teaches you how to play, and it is brutal. But it's also quite refreshing not to have all your strategies laid out for you. You have to think about it yourself, using the tools that you have and come up with a solution.
Building completed.
And I think that's way more interesting than your usual build a base and steamroll over the enemy.
Yeah, this is an RTS for RTS players, that's for sure. And part of the difficulty comes from management of finite resources. If you just go crazy and upgrade every turret, build every building and start pumping out troops, you will probably run out of resources before you have any sort of army worth fighting with.
You'll have to make do with the existing infrastructure. No more.
I mean, there is no safety net. This is war.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the real strategy of this game is knowing what to upgrade, but also what not to upgrade and what not to produce. Upgraded infantry troops that are placed strategically in buildings or behind tougher vehicles are formidable, and they'll destroy any sort of tank or bomber raid. But then you're not as mobile, so you need vehicles or aircraft that can move them around for quick deployment in the changing battlefield. And that can be a fantastic way to play this game.
Another transport mission?
Just dumping all those troops behind enemy lines out of their turret range.
Yes, but mobile troop vehicles are super vulnerable while in transit. I mean, you can lose a whole platoon to a good anti-aircraft defense or a well-placed artillery strike from an enemy.
Unit lost.
Any bandits up there?
Ouch.
Yeah, it's so depressing when that happens. Of course, you don't have to focus on infantry. Build a tank army, you might say. Well, good luck, because they are not cheap, and they build quite slowly. And if you move them out too early and you don't hit your target hard enough, you can lose your whole army, and then it really is game over.
Unit lost.
Oh, Hex, there's just so much juicy strategy and army management to think about. I'd wake up in the middle of the night with a new strategy in my head. Oh, I can try that tomorrow. But if you do manage to build a massive army, it's hard not to get swept up in the total domination of a good steamroll. Yes. Yes. Oh, go, my pretties. Destroy.
The AI isn't stupid either.
Unit is under attack.
It knows what you're up to and will advance on your forces if they're just sitting in the field ready to attack. Turrets can only hold your own base for so long, so you need unit defense too. But often you'll need to pull those troops out of base defense to make up numbers in an offensive. You're encouraged to go all out and do this because battles are quick and breaks between enemy harassment of your own base are pretty short.
Unit is under attack.
I quite liked the escalation of enemy harassment on your own base though. So it's not just a few units here and there every 10 minutes, they get much tougher as the match goes on. And then you add in variables like repair vehicles and healing units. There's an exciting, scrappy rhythm to these battles.
But that all depends on whether you can get to grips with the design of the buildings and units. It takes a long time before you can click on a building and know what it is you're clicking. For me, everything just looked too similar, Barjo.
Yeah, and I think that'll be the biggest barrier for people playing this game, just trying to figure out what exactly does what.
Yeah, and it really dragged the experience down for me because there just isn't time to figure out which is your barracks and which is your power structure.
It's a great looking game though.
On my way.
I liked that when you zoom all the way out, you get this cool tactical view.
What are your orders?
There are also some interesting ideas with taking prisoners of war and rescuing injured troops. And it's good to see an RTS where infantry is really useful even late in the game. It's just another layer of management that fans of this genre will enjoy, I think, Barjo. I was not able to find a game online though. It is pretty quiet out there.
Yeah, it is, which is a shame. I managed to find one, but just as I managed to build my very first unit, this happened.
Here we go, guys. Good luck, have fun. What to build? What to build? What's this?
Base is under attack.
No! No! Oh no! And it's over.
Oh, Hex, a rain of destruction on my base from advanced units. Classic online RTS. I got wrecked.
Well, there is a lot to learn with this game, which is great, but I'm just not sure it's worth the time to learn all of it. As exciting as the strategy is, overall it just had no soul or identity, Barjo. It's just a bit too generic in its look and storytelling, and I think an RTS needs to be memorable in 2015, so I'm giving it 2.5 stars.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, but you know, RTS games like this are so few and far between, and I agree it does have its rough parts, but I still think this is worth playing for fans of the genre, because it's kind of raw and fun all at the same time. I'm giving it 3.5 stars.
Base is under attack.